Nope. Hello. 1 2 1 2. Just to give it a few minutes for my throngs of listeners to join. Is throngs a word? Yeah, I think it's throngs. It's a very strange word. Normally I have about 2,000 listeners usually. So we'll just wait a bit longer. Sorry. Being silly. So welcome to this broadcast, this Thursday evening broadcast. If you're one of the throngs, if you're one of the throngs of my listeners, then you know that I do these streams twice a week. I do them Thursday evening at 8:30, and Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. So one evening and one morning one. And I normally start by saying all of that, and then I do the introduction, and then you can ask questions to me through Skype, and my Skype is Rebekah Maroon. So I'm here to talk about freedom. Freedom for humans. Because humans are the only animal, I assume, that suffer. I don't mean suffer like a pain, a passing pain, but long-term suffering. So this is what I talk about, the freedom from that human bondage or human condition of being separate, of feeling like you are separate, of feeling like you exist. You are someone who exists. This is what I talk about. And this is, as far as I know and I can see, the only freedom there is freedom from that sense of you being someone separate. I never found any freedom in life, in the flow of life. I never found any freedom in form, in experiences, in anything that appears in the manifest. I didn't find any freedom in relationships, in jobs, in acquiring money, in doing this, doing that, traveling here, traveling there, knowing this, knowing that, knowing non-duality. Never found any freedom in any of that stuff. Never found freedom in trying to work out the psychology of Rebekah, ironing out the traumas, dealing with childhood issues and traumas. Never found any freedom in that. Never found freedom in seeing a beautiful view, scenery. I love trees, I love greenery. It's beautiful. But there's no freedom found in anything. Anything. but we don't seem to think of our ideas as things, thoughts as things, as objects. But any thoughts, any ideas, any concepts, any understanding are also things that are moving and changing, like everything else. I'm not living the perfect lifestyle. I'm a single mum of 2 children that I home educate. So I've got a really full-on lifestyle when this body prefers to sit around and hang around and chill out. I like to sit a lot, and having these 2 kids with me means that I still do sit around quite a bit in between things, but it's not ideal, really. So I haven't got a perfect situation on the human level, and there are now movements to try and change that and trying to improve that and find some support. I don't want to put my kids into school, and they aren't too keen on going to school either, so I don't want to do that, but I'm looking at options of, just looking at options of what I can do to ease up the burden, really, of doing everything. So my life isn't perfect. I want a house with a garden. I haven't got a garden. There are things that, it's not a perfect situation. And yet, there's a speaking of a freedom. There's a freedom here that wasn't known before, or wasn't, So the freedom that is being looked for is not in life, is not in you having a perfect situation on the human level. It's not in perfection as we imagine perfection. It's not in you being the perfect, tidy, neat, packaged, healed human. So maybe that can be relaxing to hear if there's a strong striving to reach some kind of point of perfection, trying to strive to reach somewhere, to get somewhere where everything's okay and kept static and still on the human level. Some point of understanding everything and knowing everything. Or maybe that's disappointing to hear that. Maybe that's your only hope, is to get to this place so everything's clean and ordered and perfect. So maybe you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that life is messy. Humans are messy. It's not a neat packaged experience being human. And there is no peace in terms of the human reality. But there is a peace, and there is a perfection, and there is a freedom that makes everything perfect, that makes everything peaceful, regardless of what's happening. And that to me is the most beautifulest thing, because you can be forever on the human treadmill trying to perfect your life and never get there, because you can't get there. So to hear that there's peace available beyond that realm, beyond life, beyond the human experience, the changeful. That's what I loved about this message. This was a peace that was already available, not at the end of a journey. A peace that is instant freedom. Regardless of what thoughts were saying, regardless of what emotions were happening, regardless of circumstances, regardless of having money or not, regardless of having a home or not, regardless of anything. That this was totally fulfilled, totally complete. That there was an end to the experience of a suffering human, and the end didn't belong in time. So it was instant freedom. That is untouched by anything. I mean, how amazing is that? How amazing. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you have, how you feel, what you think, what you know, who you know. There was something that was free and could never not be free. Not be free. So this is what these talks are about that which is free, unbounded, immaculate. Can't think of any other subject that I can't think of any other subject that is as beautiful as this. There's nothing else as beautiful as this. There is freedom. That this isn't somebody's experience. This is life appearing, emptiness appearing as life. So I've got water in my eye. Hi, Maro. So this isn't about being a super special human. Not about being higher or better than anyone else. Having superpowers and it's totally humbling because everything is you. Everything is you. It's just that you are pretending not to be you. Pretending to be other than. And so we play it, teacher, student, or speaker, listener, however you want to phrase it. We all play. So we play. Hello, Rebekah. Is the state of awakening the same for everyone who reaches that? I mean, yogis, sages, or so-called normal persons that reach that state of awakening, do they dwell in a similar state, or there are different levels? Let's read that again. Well, if the character or the human stopped being claimed by the energy of separation, if that's dropped, then in those speakers, then yes, it's the same. It can't be different. Like, there is nothing else other than that. So if that has really dropped, then that's all there is. Emptiness speaking, emptiness looking. And it can't be different in one speaker and in the other speaker. There'll be difference in terms of like how that speaker speaks, so its experiences it's had in its life, its story, its way of explaining it, its way of just the flavor of the speaker. But yeah, there isn't different levels of this, of enlightenment. There is just that emptiness. But then what you could maybe say, maybe you're implying that, is that maybe there's still identification with the character or the human. So maybe it can feel different with some speakers, but because of that, there's still, I don't want to say traces of person, but maybe it's still being cleaned out. But ultimately, it can't be different. can't be different. Can't be. Like, who's looking now? Is it different behind Maro's eyes? Is there a different looker? This is just emptiness having a human experience. And every human has particular genetics, experiences it's had, so it's shaped differently. Every human's unique. So nothing is experiencing every uniqueness of human and animal and plant and everything else. It's being everything, having the experience of everything, every angle. And for a period of time, it seems as if when it looks through Amy, it really believes it's Amy. It becomes a sense of Amy. Then that can stop happening. And there can be a waking up, what's called a waking up, where that sense of Amy, you could say, is dropped, is no longer being identified with and held onto and supported. It's just dropped. And then there's no one looking out of Amy's eyes. Amy appears. Amy appears when it needs to appear. But it's no longer being held by anything. It's just emptiness. And that's the way it always is. Emptiness looking. That is what's here. Emptiness. Appearing as fullness. Appearing as everything. It just seems to get lost. Not really lost, but it seems to forget. It takes a sleeping pill and becomes Amy. It really believes it's Amy. It's not by accident that happens. It's just what happens. And why not? Why not play? Thank you, Mara. I think I know who you are. I think I've seen you before. Hi, Luke. I accept. Hi, Rebecca. What do you think of law of attraction? Does it work? I used to love that stuff. Esther Hicks and all that. Abraham. I used to really love that. It's so attractive, the idea of getting what you want and attracting things to you, and it's a beautiful message. I really liked it when I was into that. And The Secret, and yeah, it's a really lovely thing to listen to. Really nice. Does it work? It's hard to say yes or no to that, because maybe I didn't do it long enough, or maybe I didn't do it intensely. You can't really say. I can't really say if it works or not. I can always question my application of the instructions. Did I really go for it? Did I do it every day? Did I, who knows? You're imagining, like you want and need, those things will never satisfy you. You always then want more, something new and better. So why not try and attract things that you want, but when that seeking for fulfillment is still there, it will use those things as a way to get fulfillment, and you can't. So I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, because I know it's not going to do it for you. Nothing will. But I wouldn't say to someone, don't do it either. I mean, why not? It's positive, but yeah, I can't say. I'm sorry, I can't say if it works or not, Luke. I don't know. But have a go. Why not? It's great to have things, to have a car or a house or whatever. It's just not going to fulfill you and complete you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Very clear, amazing, and sweet. Oh, thank you. I mean, it's obvious, really. If your happiness is dependent upon having certain things, it's obvious that it's not going to last. Things come and go. They change. They break. It's obvious. It's really obvious. To find happiness that isn't dependent on anything being there or not being there. It's obviously the better thing to look for is that which isn't dependent on form, that which always is, regardless of anything. Would love to hear about your awakening. What triggered it? How were you feeling when the shift happened? What triggered it? All I can say is non-duality triggered it. Non-duality. That's wrong camera. I have two cameras open. Non-duality, you could say, triggered it. My obsession with non-duality triggered it. Like I've always, well, maybe not always, but I think over the past, what year are we in? 2018. Just let's say from my breakdown, I just was on this journey in time, this journey of trying to find home. It's always been there, really. It's trying to find home, finding it in friends, in boyfriends, in whatever. But when I found self-help and spiritual things, I began this spiritual path, and I just trusted. And it felt like I was being led, just being led with the books that I read, the people that I heard of. Just trusted and followed. It happened really easily. There was no resistance. I was so eager to end the suffering, end this feeling of incompleteness. And I think as well, because I'd already been in hell with being suicidal and depressed, I was able to handle some really dark stuff. I was able to handle lots of crying and pain, and cause I'd been having it since I was young, so I was already I could handle loneliness and isolation. I could handle being on my own. And there wasn't anything else for me. I couldn't make it in the career world. I couldn't make it in making friends, and I couldn't really make friends very easily. I still can't. I find it really hard, like with human relationships. So I couldn't make it in any other avenues. I was like stuck with spirituality and having to find it in spirituality. Ultimately, it wasn't found in spirituality at all, but that was all I had. The hope was focused on finding God, finding truth, finding this enlightenment as my only hope. There was nothing else for me. And yeah, it's a really hard path. It's a really hard path because you're never going to find anything. As a person, you are never going to find anything. And so what is left is what is happening. And there's nothing in that for you. Hence, this searching elsewhere, searching in time, in spirituality, this future hope. Because there's nothing happening here for you. There's just life happening. Innocent, free, purposeless life happening. Full on life happening. And so there's nothing for that seeker who's looking for something in career, in lovers, in spirituality. There's nothing for that one. So it's the death of that one. And what's left is life as it is. So this doesn't happen and didn't happen to Rebekah. Rebekah didn't win the golden prize. She didn't get anything. She didn't arrive anywhere. Didn't achieve anything. You see this body speaking and you assume that someone got something, that there's someone in here who got something and is now a speaker, is now arrived at this high place. How did you get it? How did you get there? What did you do? What can I do to get there? And that's just part of the dream. You can't have life. There's no one to have life. There was just life. What there's always been. There was someone in time resisting it, wanting something better, wanting to find completion. And the last part of your question, how were you feeling when the shift happened? Yeah. Well, there was no shift that happened like an event. There wasn't like someone there and then a shift and then there's no one there. It's really impossible to talk about. Yeah, it's just, yeah, possible. I can just say again, there's just what's happening. There's just life happening. How did you feel when there was life happening? When there was a wall and a computer and a camera and a lamp and the sound of children and the bum on the seat. How did you feel? This is it. This is it. Thank you, Luke. Hi, Heel. Hi, you wouldn't say nothing's happening. Is that a question? You wouldn't say nothing's happening. You wouldn't say nothing's happening? Would I say nothing's happening? I don't know. I couldn't leave it as that. I couldn't leave it as half, nothing's happening. I can say that, but also say everything is happening. It's just what's happening. Life is happening. So nothing's happening, but also life is happening. Is that your whole question? I mean, nothing's happening in that. What that kind of like brings up in me is like nothing leaves a mark. So is it really happening? Nothing can be held on to. So is it really happening? Nothing's happening. You can't grasp and keep anything. Constantly changing and moving. And what is happening isn't related to anything. Just what's happening. Free. Yeah. Yeah. But why are you asking these questions? Just what's happening. Well, because sometimes I feel it a bit strangely. Enough. I'm not sure what you mean. Well, because sometimes I feel it a bit strangely enough. Oh, strangely? Strange. Sorry, I mean, it's not obvious, but sometimes it is. Yeah. Yeah. It feels... Yeah. It feels as if you're relying on the mind's interpretation. And that's why sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. It feels as if what your mind is saying is taken to be a reality. And therefore it flicks between the two. Because this, what I'm talking about, isn't like going through the mind at all. It doesn't need the mind or require the mind or thoughts. So it couldn't be lost. Only be lost when you've got it through mind, through thought. Then it can be lost, because thoughts always change, this to that, back and forth. No, I know, it's also not lost, just not total. What I'm pointing to is so primary. It's primary. It's not, you can't question it. It is. Questions come after. Da, da, da. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Luke, were you into... Thank you, Heel. Sorry. Thank you for your question. Oh, he's still typing. Haha, yeah, thanks. Thank you, Heel. Luke, were you into meditation? Do you find any value in yoga and meditation practices? There is value in them, definitely value in them. I used to meditate, yes. I still do, but not in that way. I just sit around. I just sit around and just enjoy, like, whatever happens, whatever comes up. It's beautiful. Like life and meditation, all of it is. But yeah, I used to sit there and meditate, you know, different things, like the breath, counting your breath. So yeah, breath counting, all different things really. Yeah, so I used to do that a lot. I do yoga a bit still, not so much as I used to, but I still do yoga. I like yoga. It's very relaxing, very energizing, and yeah, I hate being stiff, so I like to be stretchy and flexible. So yeah, it's very beneficial. Yoga, meditation, relaxing, letting the body relax. Yeah, there's value in it, but if you're asking if it's valuable and has a place in terms of getting to enlightenment, then I don't know. I can't say yes or no. I don't know. All I know and what I talk about is what already is, which is freedom. Already free. Enlightenment already is. It doesn't require you to be relaxed or peaceful or energized or anything like that, or still. There's a stillness that's already here. But as a human, why not do these things? Why not be healthy, eat vegetables, eat fruit, meditate, have a stiller, quieter mind, be more aware of the body, how the body feels? Why not? Why not? But freedom already is. It doesn't require any of that. Okay, so I'm really tired now. I'm going to go and chill out for a bit before I go to bed. So thank you for joining. and for your questions and communication with me. Oh. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Heal, thank you, Luke. Thank you, Maro. Yeah. So I'm live again on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. So feel free to join me then if you can. So bye. See you Sunday.